Welcome to another edition of Entrepreneurs on Fuego. With me I have OMG. Who do I have today? I have Joe Zepp with Sigma OMG. Man, when I saw the name of your company, I was like, I got to talk to this guy. Anybody that's got the OMG, has got to come on the show. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing phenomenal, man. Tell us a little bit about your company, what you do and stuff.
Okay, Sigma OMG started in 2013. One of the founders and one of my partners is the original marketing guy for LifeLock.
Oh.
So his name is Brian Trich. Brian has been in marketing for 30 plus years. He started off with a company, it was I think a pharmaceutical company, and then he started his own company called Applied Creative. Applied Creative became one of the bigger advertising agencies in the Southwest, and he sold that company in 2008. Our kids go to school together, we started talking, and wham bam, we started Sigma OMG.
Wow.
Now you said OMG.
Yeah.
You can't forget it, right?
No, you can't.
There you go. That's the reason we did it.
You can't. It's perfect. I mean,
Right.
it's a marketing thing. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so we combined, so to finish, we combined marketing with Six Sigma process improvement. Brian does the marketing side, I do the process improvement. I have a Six Sigma black belt in process improvement. So I always like to tell people we manage the 4 Ps: people, programs, projects, which equals profitability.
The project improvement, what is that specifically? How does that connect with the marketing?
Okay.
For those of us who don't understand exactly what you said, but how do the two merge together?
So to use an analogy, we all own a home,
Mm-hmm.
and when LED lighting came out, it lowers your costs, but
Yeah.
creates the same or greater efficiencies. So we do that on a company-wide basis. In other words, we'll go into a company to say, hey, I want to market. How many times have people been told what to market, and they want to spend their dollars on AdWords or whatever the marketing campaign is,
Right.
but they don't know what the return is? We can take Six Sigma process improvement and put metrics around that marketing.
Okay.
So for instance, you spend $1,000 marketing and advertising on radio. How do we know that radio spot is reaching your target audience? And how do we know what your return on your investment is for that $1,000?
How is this different from the existing metric systems that are embedded into, say, the regular social media, like Facebook and Instagram? They have some kind of metrics that they measure.
They do, and it's more of click rates. So
Okay.
if you see that in, like for instance, you advertise on Facebook. I've
Right.
been to many Facebook and advertising places, and it's usually a group of people that send around their messages to kind of get around the little spiders so they have a higher ranking. So their website goes up, but it's not really, does your sales go up? So if I can do on the internet as far as a Facebook ad, and then I go through and I click, that's great because you got a lot of clicks, but does those clicks equal profitability for you? And is it the right messaging to target the right group of people?
It's like I tell people, I don't want friends. I want customers.
That's exactly
Why
right.
do I care about having 10,000 friends if I don't have
Right.
one customer?
And we found that going into companies, both small, large, and medium-sized companies, it usually starts off a conversation is, I need your help in X. And it's usually some marketing or some basic managerial improvements. But usually when you do that and you open up the curtain, you find all the processes behind there that are failing that equals that result. So that's the beauty about Six Sigma. It can be it's across all business sectors. For instance, our first client was an international company. They were one of the larger OPEC nations in the world, so we actually got to go in and do some work for them. And then we segued into small businesses. We had a client in Scottsdale who had an educational funding company, and in 90 days we were able to up their profitability by 33%.
When you say up their profitability, what do you mean exactly? Did you increase their sales? Did they
Their
reduce
bottom
the cost?
line.
The bottom line. Okay.
The bottom line. So when I refer to profitability, I refer to the bottom
All
line.
right.
And this was a company that grossed maybe $300,000 a year, so 33% bump in income and profitability was huge.
And just by applying the metrics in your company?
Correct.
So that they know where their money was going.
They knew where
the efficacy of the methods that they were using, they just didn't know.
Right, and this particular company had a very educated Ivy League director. The first words to me is, I'm the king of processes when I walked in. And after I left, and 3 months later he says, I really wasn't the king of processes. So
the moment he said that, you're like, oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
I'm just gonna dethrone the king.
Right,
No disrespect, but
right,
dude, you don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
All right. You could have. Let me put it this way: you could have the best product or service in the world, But it always boils down to marketing and to tracking that marketing, doesn't it?
It does, and also another segue of that is if I ask you, if you have a business, what is the process of you making money? Most people there'll be silence.
Yeah,
And you can
kind
see them thinking, the wheels are going,
Sure.
and they're thinking, how do I actually make that? Because they don't know. And that's where we can come in, we can help them, okay, let's sit down and map what you do, how you do it, where are you failing, where are you not? Because most business owners will know, I have a problem here, this is my pain point, I need help here. And then when you go in, you say, okay, why are you having problems here? And there's something in Six Sigma called the 5 why analysis, which is basically you ask the question 5 times so you get to root cause. So it's root cause analysis. And you keep asking, why? Well, why do you do this? Well, why was that decision made? And you could jump to another one. Why was that decision made? And pretty soon you get down to what the real cause of the problem is. It's kind of like going to the doctor and saying, hey, I got a pain here.
Right.
But after they do 5 or 6 tests, this is a symptom of something else.
All right. And so when you have this diagnosis, now then you develop the marketing strategy for that particular company, or are you just behind the scenes monitoring the processes?
We do both. We actually do 3. We have the marketing, we have the combination, and then we just have the process side.
Right.
So sometimes it's a marketing problem, sometimes it's an internal managerial or process improvement problem, and sometimes it's both. It's a combination of the marketing and the process. But on our website, there's an article by Unilever, giant conglomerate. Sure. This year they just started putting metrics around the marketing, and that's what we do now.
Is metrics then the future?
I wouldn't say it's the future, but I would certainly say if you look at large companies, and you talk about being an entrepreneur and have a small company, I know the conversation we had is it's not, I open a business, there's my Mercedes and everything else.
It doesn't work
It's not that way.
Right.
But when you look at large companies and you see what they do differently than small companies, they almost always realize technology is going to change, the way you do business will change, and the efficiencies will change. That's why they usually employ people that have this type of designation to be a continuous improvement operation. So they're continuously mining on how to do things better, more efficiently, to equal greater profitability.
When did you realize that you had the ability to be better and to actually be the real king of processes? How did you realize that? I mean, how far back? I know that in 2003 you started your business, but you must have realized, wait a minute, I think I can do this better than somebody else.
Well, I spent a long time in government agencies. And when I left the government agency, I went to the private sector. Now, government is wrought with this type of situation, but as soon as I was designated with this designation, went through the education, the light bulb went off, bing, and it was like, wow. And I mean, it's so cross-referenced, meaning I can go into, for instance, I have a client right now that's a construction person. Yeah. And I just had a conversation today, and it's just like, okay, this will work great here, and things are starting to click now. People are starting to go, I understand this now. So it's just you have to be passionate, but I just love when that comes together.
What's the best advice you get?
The best advice as far as business owners?
Business personal?
I would always say look to give back, because it's not always about what you make; it's about the impact you make.
And that's an amazing advice that we are going to give to our entrepreneurs who are watching this program, man. And let me tell you something. What fascinates me about your company is that you have an entirely different angle, a more how shall I say, perhaps the fact that we're applying all this technology into marketing, and you are able to know and to explain to people, this is why you're doing this thing, and this is why your process right now is failing, but I can make it better. It's something that you don't get to hear too often.
You don't, but then again, not every business does business on the internet. Some of the clients we've worked with are larger conglomerates, obviously. They do a certain segment of their business. But I know we've had many conversations with clients who have great ideas, but doesn't mean it's a business, number one. And it doesn't mean that you need to hit the internet, number two. It depends on the type of business. Some aspect of it needs to be there, but I think when the internet first came out, I think about this. I mean, you and I are, I don't know how old you are, but we're probably similar
I'm
ages.
35.
Yeah. 21, 30. So we're, I'm sure.
We're contemporaneous.
Right. When the internet hit, everybody in marketing thought, man, I just got to put my name out there instantly. I get all this $1 million. and it didn't hit.
Right.
It was one spoke in the wheel. It is still one spoke in the wheel. Does your wheel need it? Who knows? But your wheel probably has to have some spoke. How large the spoke
Yep.
is, you don't know.
I agree, dude. I still have an AOL account, man. So that's how old you know I am, man. But you know, I absolutely love what you do. And just one last thing. I mean, this is applicable for smaller companies as well, right? I mean,
I think the smaller companies, if they don't realize that they need to continuously look for better ways to do it, will be left behind. A perfect example, you have the internet come out. If you were still doing business pre-internet, would you be in business today? Probably not.
probably not. Yeah.
Probably not. So as technology changes, the way business changes, everything changes. And if you're not in that mindset of this is working today, will it work tomorrow? You don't know.
You got to come back and visit us. Man.
Absolutely. Thanks,
That was
man.
fun, man. Did you call me old?
No, not at all.
Did he call me old?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
All right, contemporaneous. With that, we're out.